really? Because that's literally like what he told me about you. And she was like, what? And I was like, so he's just like going around saying that people have drinking problems, when really he's the one who does. Different story. Good morning, welcome back to my channel. I'm Montreal. This is Montreal in real life, and today I'm sharing part of my story surviving narcissistic abuse with you. And the reason I'm sharing my story is because I just want people to be aware of the little subtleties that abuse could look like, and know that you're not alone if this is something you're going through, and to build a community and share my healing journey. I'm also going to be doing a little natural makeup look today just because I haven't done my makeup on camera in a while, and that's just what I felt like doing. But pay no attention to the makeup, except for this, because I'm always going to sponsor this Banana Bright primer because I think it's awesome. Alrighty, so picking up where we left off, we had a little demonic possession situation occurring. And I had cleansed his house. Now it's about the end of March now, and we didn't really go on a lot of dates in this relationship, and that's okay. You know, I wasn't expecting anything because we're both like in school. I was about to graduate, doing my thesis, working 3 jobs. Like, I wasn't really bothered by like not going out, and we would just hang out together, watch a movie at home. You know, it was just like very simple, and I was like totally chill with that. But one of the ways like we did like hang out a lot was like we went to a lot of parties together, or like I went to his house for parties that he was hosting. And so this video is about misinformation. Alright, just following up on my latest information in real life video, or the more you know. I was being told like a lot at these parties that, you know, people didn't understand our relationship, and this is parties like where there's a lot more diversity. It wasn't just like a whole bunch of frat guys. And so like sometimes there would be like girls from like some of the sororities, Heyooo and Alpha Phi over, and like we would just like hang out and stuff. But yeah, they would always be like, wow, you're so much prettier than him, like you have a lot going on, and like how are you guys even together? Like they just didn't understand the relationship, which is fair. I mean, and again, not to sound conceited or anything, this is just literally what happened. Like they literally just would say this to me. They would say it in front of him, and you know, I would tell them like, maybe don't say that to him because it's kind of mean. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, looking back, I'm like, okay, LOL, because he was trash. So like they would just always be like making these statements amongst themselves, to me, to him, to us both together, and it was a little uncomfortable. But the reason I'm mentioning this is because, one, it's a way that I found out that my narcissist was kind of smearing me as well at the time, briefly, or I don't know however long it lasted, but I found out at about this time. So these girls, right, obviously he didn't like what they were saying, and so he would always tell me like, okay, they're alcoholics, like don't listen to them, don't hang out with them, I'm gonna stop inviting them to parties and stuff. And so, you know, that did happen. Like we started hanging out a lot less and less like with those girls. Like the reason he was saying like he didn't want to hang out with them is because of like, well, obviously it was probably hurting his feelings, but also because he didn't want me getting a certain information. Because as it turns out, he was going around and telling them that I was like an alcoholic and such as well. And the way I found this out is because one time this girl from Heyooo, she was like at her party, and she was straight up just like telling him like, your girlfriend's prettier than you, da 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 da. after that, he was like really upset, you know, I guess understandably, but I always tried to be an understanding person. And I do believe that men and boys should be given the space to express themselves and understand their emotions and cry and whatnot. But the thing is that that's not what he was doing. He was just having a tantrum. And there's a difference between expressing your emotions and then just having like a tantrum to wreak havoc on people for no reason. So there's a difference between like expressing your emotions and then having a tantrum because you can't manage your emotions. Alright? That's what was happening. That's what's always happening. When I say like he was upset, I mean he was having a tantrum. Okay? So he started telling me like this whole backstory about how her dad like left and like went to go live on a fishing boat, and now she has like daddy issues or something. He was just trying to tell me like she's alcoholic, she does like cocaine and stuff, like don't talk to her, don't trust what she says, and you know, being like how I am, well, that concerned me, and I was like, maybe I should check in on her. So I invited her to lunch. We had our lunch, and the funny thing is that she started checking in on me. She started being like, well, how are you doing? Like, you know, you're not drinking too much, are you? And I was like, what do you mean by that? It was a very civilized conversation, but I was definitely like confused. I was like, what do you mean? Like, why would you think like that I have a drinking problem? And she was like, oh, 'cause what's his face told me. And I was like, really? 'Cause that's literally like what he told me about you. And she was like, what? And I was like, so he's just like going around saying that people have drinking problems, when really he's the one who does. Different story. Or it could be part of the story. Like, because it's usually the people who, what happens is the narcissist is usually trying to deflect or project, that's what it's called. The narcissist projects their inner turmoil onto you. So he's going around saying that me and these AKO girls are alcoholics and we just like can't keep ourselves together, when in reality that's like what was happening with him. That was the issue that came up in our relationship a lot, and then he like told me he was gonna stop drinking and be sober and not do drugs. And okay, now it's getting into a different story, but that's the base. And so then of course I confront him. I'm like, why are you like going around telling people that I have a problem? And also, yeah, what's up with that? And so pay attention to this now. I'm trying to get more information out of this person because of all the misinformation, and he totally just deflects the question and goes into a different subject that's about him and feeling sorry for him. Another tantrum that's like, wow, why would you like listen to her? I told you like she's this and that, and she doesn't like me, so of course she's gonna say weird stuff about me. And then he just starts going into this saga about how nobody, excuse me, sorry, I'm trying to get my blush brush. But anyways, he starts going into this whole saga about how nobody likes him, his mom doesn't like him, doesn't like himself, and that I should leave him. He starts going into this little tantrum, and then my thought is lost. My intention of going in there and confronting him about, you know, why is he saying that I'm an alcoholic behind my back? You know, we never addressed that because he just deflects the question and starts into this tantrum, which then I, you know, being how I am, feel compelled to comfort him, and then I start to have the whole sympathy situation for him and just think that maybe there's something going on underneath the surface. I was just trying to like understand like how he might feel to be talked about, but like at the same time I never got like an answer about like why he was saying things about me, and then it just kind of basically got brushed under the rug. And like that's a common way that happens, is like they just don't answer your question, or they move on to something else and get your mind off of it, basically distract you with the issue like about them, making you feel bad. You know, it's a whole cycle. It's a series, okay? So I'm doing a series on this. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my story. I hope that this kind of clarifies the example of misinformation and smear campaigning. I also felt that this story was important because it sets the foundation for what's coming up, for a lot more explosive behaviors by him down the line, where we have him trying to convince me that I do have a substance problem, and just me questioning his behaviors a lot more, which not to say that I deserved any of his explosiveness or that's an excuse for why he needed to act so volatile, but there was tensions because of me becoming like I was digging for more information, and you know, the narcissist doesn't like being questioned or doubted. So that's coming up, and thank you for watching again, everyone. Have a great day.